Hi guys, it's Angie with Fun Endeavors Tie-Dye Lab. Today let's make an incline diamond shirt. I'm starting out with the shirt turned inside out, and I'm going to begin by centering the shirt. This process is going to go really fast, but down below in the description for this video, I have a link to another video which shows how to center a shirt. Essentially what I'm doing with the centering process is getting both sides of the front of the shirt right up next to each other and both sides of the back of the shirt right up next to each other. That way both sides of the front of the shirt are going to look more similar and symmetrical, and the same thing for the back. I'm drawing a mark in the middle of the shirt where I'd like for the center of my very first diamond to be. I'm actually going to put multiple diamonds on this shirt. Grabbing that mark, I'm going to lift the shirt up off the table and fold it in half. Then I'm going to grab the top portion of the shirt and fold it down to that center line fold, and do the same thing with the other side. So what I've ended up doing is doing some really large fan folds in the shirt. Right on the middle corner, I'm going to use my washable marker and a straight edge and draw a diagonal line. This is going to be the line that I'm going to fan fold for the diamond. Because I have a lot of fabric and the fold is pretty thick, I'm not able to put very small fan folds in the shirt, so the fan folds I'm using are pretty large. Once I have this line fan folded, I'm going to tie it with some kite string. I'm going to do an incline dye on this shirt, so I want the dye to be able to freely move down the shirt. I'm going to continue these fan folds on the rest of the shirt and tie it with kite string. I put the shirt aside to work on some other projects that I was in the middle of, and by the time I came back to it a few days later, it was completely dry. I've decided I'm going to choose a little bit darker color palette to use on this shirt. Like I mentioned earlier, I'm going to incline ice dye this shirt, so I've placed it inside of a piece of vinyl guttering, and to keep the shirt from sliding all the way down to the very end of the guttering, I'm going to tie a piece of kite string to the end of the shirt and then clip the other end of the kite string onto the end of the piece of guttering. I've chosen 6 dye colors, so to make applying the dye a little bit easier, I am going to use my washable marker and divide my shirt into 6 sections. I'm going to apply 1 dye color to each section, and I'm going to leave a little bit of white space in between the dye colors to allow them a little bit of room to move. The first color I'm using is Berry from Pro Chemical and Dye. The next one is Dutch Chocolate from Dharma, Medieval Brown from Dye Spin, Shiitake Mushroom from Dharma, Black Cherry from Dharma, and Moose from Dharma. Moose was a special color which was only available for a short time. If you would like to purchase some though, you can usually find it from a Facebook group called Tie-Dye Supplies Marketplace. People purchase the special order dye colors and then they package them down in smaller quantities. Now I'm going to add an additional sprinkle of soda ash over the top of the dye. And I'm going to add on a layer of ice. I'm using 2-inch ice cubes, which I made from a mold which I purchased off of Amazon. Then to place the shirt in an incline, I'm going to put one end of the vinyl guttering down inside of a container. This is not one of the really tall-sided containers. The sides of this container are only about 7 inches. Then I put the container aside and allowed the ice to melt. After the ice melted on this front side, I left the shirt for about 2 days and it looked like the dye had gone through fairly well to the back side, but because this shirt is so thick, I wanted it to look fairly uniform. And in order to make sure I got pretty good color saturation on this back side, I needed to really turn the shirt over and add some more dye. So that's what I did. I turned the shirt over and used the same dye pattern on the back side. Because the dyes have kind of run together and they're pretty dark, it's a little bit difficult to tell which color is which. I just kind of had to eyeball just about where the middle of the shirt is and go from there. So the colors may overlap just a little bit, but that's not going to be an issue. I'm not going to add a whole lot of dye to the back side. I'm going to add a pretty light coat. Then I'm going to add a little bit more additional soda ash and some more ice. Once this layer of ice melted, I continued processing the shirt and allowed it to process for about 24 to 48 hours after the second layer of ice melted. I didn't include the rinse out in this video, but I did it the way I normally do. I rinsed it in cold water to rinse out the soda ash, untied it, warmed the water up to hot, and continued rinsing until the water was almost clear. Then I put the shirt in my washing machine along with some Dharma's Professional Textile Detergent and washed it using a hot water cycle. And this is what it looks like. Okay, so what do you guys think? I think this one ended up looking more like an abstract diamond, not a real super defined diamond. But that was kind of what I was going for. I was going for the multiple diamond look, and I wanted the colors to be kind of dark and mysterious. I also wanted the colors to flow into one another. That's part of the reason why I left a little bit of white space after each color. And I think I achieved that look. The colors definitely flowed into one another. I really like the pop of berry that I put right at the very top because that is the color that you see in the top diamond and in the bottom diamond. I also really like kind of the olive green color that's in the shirt, which I think probably comes from the moose. I'm glad I turned the shirt over and added more dye to the back side. There's not a huge color difference between the front side and the back side, but sometimes if you're dyeing something that's as thick as this one is, if you only put dye on the front side and then just try to force it through to the back, which normally works for most folds, the back side will sometimes be just a little bit lighter, and every now and then you can tell the difference. This time I added enough that I don't think you can really tell the difference. I think both sides look really pretty much the same, which is great. That's what I was going for. I also really like the little bonus star or whatever, which is down in that bottom diamond area. I think that looks really cool. So overall, I really like the shirt. I love the colors together, and I think it turned out just looking like a cool abstract diamond shirt. But what do you guys think? Please drop me some comments down below and let me know. And if you've enjoyed the video, I sure would appreciate it if you would like it, and if you'd subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you'll hit the bell, it'll notify you whenever I upload a new video. Thank you all for watching, and I hope you have a great day.